Hello. Welcome, everybody, to this very, very special edition of Sidebar Sessions. So, tonight we are in for a wonderful time talking about pearls of purpose, motherhood through the generations. So, we are just going to give it a couple seconds and share in a few places and allow people to come on. And then we're just going to get started having a great time. So, yes. Grams, how was your day?
She said, "How was your day?"
Oh, I had a great day, sweetheart. Just kind of chilling a little bit. Not
Okay.
doing too much, but I had a wonderful day.
Chilling
Must
is
be
good.
nice to chill, retired and
Retired,
chill.
honey.
Everybody ain't able, okay?
I always say I want to be retired when I grow up.
Yes. Well, how was your day today, Shafran?
My day was pretty good. I was off to a slow start, had some crazy, ridiculous dreams last night. Maybe it was the Italian sausage from last night's dinner. I'm all right. How was yours?
It was good. It was good. Yeah, busy but good. So that's a good thing. But yeah, you can't eat that pork at night.
No,
Gotta
you cannot.
live dreams.
You be fighting flies.
So, if you've just joined, welcome to our broadcast, Pearls of Purpose, our sidebar session for this evening. Also, if you are joining us in progress, please hit that share button to share us with your friends. And if you have friends and family that are not on Facebook, we are live right now, also on YouTube. So please be sure to tell a kin, tell a friend, as a friend would say. And let's jump right on into it. So tonight, I am pleased as punch to introduce our very special guest. I am always excited about sidebar sessions, but I don't know that I've ever been this excited about a show because we have our queen mother, the crown jewel. We're the gems, but she is the crown jewel. My grandmother and sweet Teresa's mother, Miss Dorothy Taylor. Welcome on to the broadcast, Grandma.
Thank you, sweetie.
You're so welcome. So, as we all know, Mother's Day is upon us this weekend. It's one of the biggest holidays, really, of the year where we take time out to celebrate mothers for their sacrifices and contributions. And we thought, what better way to pay homage to the holiday than to take some time and share amongst each other and with you about motherhood, because it's really a purpose driven, one of the most purpose driven things you'll do in this life. So we called it Pearls of Purpose. And we have three generations on tonight. So it'll be motherhood through the generations. Um, so yeah, we're talking about motherhood tonight, and let's just get to know our panel a little bit. I have some icebreaker questions for you, Grandma and Mom. So, number one, at what age did your kids stop embarrassing you and you started embarrassing them?
Oh. Hmm. What age did they stop embarrassing me and I started embarrassing them? I'll say probably. Oh, I have to count back. Let's say 30 something. I don't know exactly what age. Would that would be no, that's not right. Let's say Mama, you do it.
Oh, after all of you all left home. That's when I stopped embarrassing them, and they still embarrass me. See that right there.
I 100% believe that. I really do.
See my face. Wrong. Next.
A mess. A mess. So think back. You can either answer for now or think back to when you had kids in the house. What is something in your house that no one seems to see but you?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. No one seemed to eat it but me.
To see. Oh, I would say the dirty dishes in the sink. Seems like nobody else can see that but me, and they just piling up.
That.
Yeah, yeah. That's it.
Picking up things out of the floor.
Oh yeah.
That was my thing.
Speaking of pearls of wisdom, I always think about what you say about keeping the floor clear.
If you keep your floor clear, everything else will look pretty good. Just
Yes.
keep the floor clear.
Yes.
That's an extra gem for y'all. If there was one mom duty you're glad you don't have to do anymore, what would it be?
It would probably be when you were babies changing diapers. That's just not fun. That's just not fun. No.
Same here, Jane.
So no
Changing
diapers for either of you.
Yeah, nah.
I don't look forward to it.
Not nice.
No.
Necessary, but not nice.
Not at all.
Okay then, toilet paper, over or under, and why?
Over.
Under.
Over.
No!
You know what? That's a good one because I look at it and I'm like, I'll flip it and then I'll be like, okay, is it over or under? There's no right way to pull toilet paper.
I say over because, like, if you put the toilet paper on under, then you get to pulling and it comes off too fast. That's my personal opinion.
That's it. It rolls too fast.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And then it's hard to tear that way.
So over.
Learn
something new every day.
Yes.
Over. Okay.
Remember that.
Yes, mother. Yes. Go
And
ahead.
then last but not least, what is the silliest thing you've ever done or the silliest thing that's ever happened to you?
So many.
So many.
The silliest. Well, I always think about it. I always come to my mind, but I was in high school and we had some stairs, in some kind of way, I had on these clogs. Clogs were, tough back then. They still nice now, but they was real tough. And I started tumbling down the stairs. I didn't hurt myself in them, but it was embarrassing, And so I just get up and, pretend like nothing else happened and stuff. So that was to me, After a while, it was funny, but it wasn't funny when I was tumbling down those stairs.
Yep.
I think the funniest thing happened to me similar to I would walk to school to Jackson State, and I got to the railroad track, and I made a bad step, and I fell. And once I got on the ground, it took me a long time to get up. So I had to look around and see who was looking at me. It was embarrassing.
No, Mama, the first funniest one that you told me was when you was at home and she fell and she had to scoot. She couldn't get up.
That's another one. I was out in the attic at home and I was reaching for something and I fell. And I had to slide all the way from the attic to my couch. I reached for the bed. It didn't work. Then I end up sliding all the way to the couch, and that's when I had to roll over to
That's
get up.
all bad.
That was funny. I was so hoping nobody. I knew I was by myself, but that would have been a camera thing, girl.
Hilarious.
Oh Lord.
Funny.
Yes. That's the one.
That's
I've
it.
had many Whoppers, but a recent one. I was driving down the street and I was, let's just say I was wearing a wig, minding my own business, only to look in my rear view mirror and realize I had never put my wig on. I'm sitting here riding around with a stocking cap on my on my head, thinking that I have on hair, and I do not. So yeah.
Okay.
My.
That's all we can say. It's my.
That was terrible.
Turtle, but thankfully I realized it before I got out and had gone where I was headed to the store.
Mother, are you ready? We'll take over the show with funny stuff. Keep going.
No, y'all. If you've just joined this broadcast, we're silly and we like to cut up. Our love of cutting up runs deep through the generations, okay?
Can't help it.
We got the can't help it. So welcome. If you just tuned in, we're talking about Pearls of Purpose, Motherhood through the Generations. We're live on Facebook and we're also live on YouTube. So hello. Please, you guys, feel free to tell us your stories. Tell us your stories. Ask us your questions as we talk, because we want to hear from you. Okay. So we have had so much love of fun and so many stories of hanging out and doing things, wonderful memories. But you all have been very much the compass for me as a woman. But in this stage, the compass for me as a mother and a mother to be in my own right. So don't want to miss the opportunity to pick you all's brains and your hearts about motherhood. Okay. So the first question, and this is, I'll start with you, Grandma. This is not meant to be funny, but we are tickled for other reasons. But tell us about your mother and what you learned from her.
Oh, well, I didn't grow up with a mom, a real mama, because my mom died when I was at the age of 3 years old. And for a while I lived, with my dad. And a few years after my real mom died, he remarried. And I always tell people that, and I'm being transparent. And I may not use the right word, but I always tell them it was a mother from hell. Uh, I didn't have a good mother. Uh, and when you were asking about it, what did I learn from her? I really didn't learn anything from her, because she was the kind of person, she wasn't really the mother type. She would, I guess, a career lady, she would do her own thing. And just like, we didn't really belong to her. So all that I learned mostly was from my grandmother. I was raised by my grandmother and my dad. But I can't say that I can't name many good things about her. It was not good. So I can't tell you that I learned nothing from her. But I depended on my grandmother a lot. So she taught me the things that I knew.
You actually said a lot there, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might have learned what not to do.
That is
and what you didn't want to be like.
That's the thing. I don't know if we've gotten into
No,
that,
just go ahead.
but I know we're going to get into talking about children and everything. Sometimes I grew up the way we were treated, the way I was treated when I was a child. I always would say that I would never let my children go without anything. And I think that's what happened. I was really overprotective of them. It was to the point that I was careful about this child. I didn't want everybody to hold her. Uh, and I realized I was real selfish. She didn't stay all night with nobody. And then when she would go away from me at school or something, I'm all constantly thinking about, are they treating her right? That was my main thing. Are they getting fed right? They've been treated right. They've been talked to right. Because I had a way that I talked to my children. I didn't like other people to talk to me any different. So I think all of that, ties in with I just had a desire to be the best mom that I could be. And I was so excited to be a mom. I didn't even realize anything about. I guess I didn't think about it. What was going to happen after the baby get here? What was that? Didn't know anything, but I just was so excited about it. Didn't know it was a boy or girl, but whatever it was my baby. So that's part of that.
So, Mama, what did you learn from your mother?
Oh, I learned so much. You know, first, not just how to be a mother, because before you're a mother, you're a woman. So I learned, how to carry myself respectfully. I learned how to dress. I learned how to take care of my physical body. Um, just learn how to get around in life. Learn how to be independent. Mama's very independent.
Mhm.
And she's always had some sort of business or whatever, and so I learned from her the value of work, and how to take care of myself and be independent. So I learned a lot as far as being a woman. And then as far as being a mother, yeah, she definitely took that the opposite way from how she was raised, and which was good, because we couldn't had a better mother. And she took care of us, and she, everywhere she went, we went. And excuse me, and sewing for days, always made all our little clothes and different things like that, and always had meals on the table or what have you, and was there at anything we were participating in school or what have you. She was there, just always been there. And then being a listening ear if we needed to talk or what have you. And so yeah, I learned all of that from her.
Mhm. Well, I learned so much from both of you, but everything you said you learned from grandma, I got. Plus, I would say resourcefulness. Absolutely learned resourcefulness from you, mom. And um a measure of gentleness. Like, you're really direct, but you're also quite gentle with us in a way. Like, I don't remember you raising your voice a whole lot. We didn't get a lot of whoopings.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just that there is a different way to communicate with other people as well as your own children. I also learned from both of you in different ways how to be a wife, a demonstration of what that looks like, how to manage life with a man. We learn those things from our mother. So the list goes on, but the footprint generation to generation is there. And I agree with what you picked up, Mom, about Grandma's story. Grandma, you learned what not to do. But I also want to highlight what you said about your grandmother we have, we're going to talk about that a little bit, but I hope that's an encouragement to somebody out there that you can be a good influence on somebody that may not be directly your child. And I hope for anybody who does not have a mother that there is a village out there for you, somebody to see about you.
That's right.
That those things matter. They really do matter. And with you not having a mother, your grandmother made a difference that has a lasting impact across the next two generations.
Yeah, there's always, someone willing to step in and, be that mother figure. Because like you said, you don't have to biologically carry a child to be a mother.
That's right.
So true. So true.
And those of us, as we go on through life, if we're led to step up and do that because you're needed.
You're needed. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
So, Grandmama, you mentioned how excited you were to become a mother. Tell us about the experience of learning that you would become a mother and more about what you went through at that time.
Okay. Well, like I said, when I knew that I was going to have a baby, I was excited about it. I guess I didn't really think about actually the consequences of carrying the baby and then the baby being born and I have to see about the baby and all that because I didn't know anything about babies.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so blessed to have friends that were next door to it that would help me with the baby. And I'm grateful for that because they would come every morning
Mm.
and show me, what to do with the baby and that kind of thing. And my mother-in-law was a blessing to me because she would be there, with me in at a certain time until the baby got a little older. But it was a happy time. Although I was afraid though when I
I
really
was
got.
gonna ask that. Were you scared? Because you were really young.
I was afraid at the last of going into the hospital and having the baby. But all the time that I was carrying, I had a beautiful pregnancy. I wasn't sick but the labor was all day,
Mm.
from morning to night. That was the hardest thing. But I guess I was so excited till some of those pains just disappeared. I mean, I, I don't know. I just kind of like didn't feel it, I guess. But it was good. I enjoyed every pregnancy I had. I just told someone about that about a week ago. Every child that I uh, brought into this world, I was so excited.
Mm.
I was happy. Uh, um, I mean, not a one that I was sorry about. I
Yeah.
was happy about it, and so it was good.
I got tickled because you said, Mama, you labored with her all day and all night, and I just thought, so she been slow since she came here.
Amen. Yes.
I'm appalled.
My child liked to sleep, and I
Yeah.
think I did that to her too.
I'm appalled.
Yes, from 6 o'clock to 6 in the evening,
Ooh.
all day labor. Yes.
Hey, hey, I didn't have nothing to do with that.
And for kicks, just for the audience watching, Grandma's describing her first baby. Mama is that first baby.
She did.
Mhm. So, Mama,
Okay,
just
go ahead.
describe being a mother for the first time. What was that like for you?
Well, audience, the first time is yours truly over there, Shafron. Hello, 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 hello. Um, like mom, I was excited when I found out. Had a, good pregnancy. I didn't have any morning sickness and all of that, and I was working. So that kind of, took my mind off a lot of things because I was working and going to school.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just happening. You know, I didn't have time to think about what's going on. You know, you're growing and all of this kind of thing, and it's just gonna happen. Delivery, you came here 15 minutes. Total opposite than me.
Mm-hmm.
You were on time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the day they said you were coming, you were just like that now. That's probably why you punctual. You were on time and you came here fast. So, you know, I didn't have, like I said, it was total opposite experience of mom as far as labor. But I don't think I was scared of of motherhood. I didn't know what I was necessarily doing. You know, mama was there with me for the first week, but I wasn't scared. I just figured, you know, you just figure out how to do this stuff. You know, she tells me a little bit, you know, and show me how to change a few diapers or whatever, and you just do it. And I guess that's my personality. You just get in there and you just figure this thing out and you just do it. So it was a good pregnancy, good, you know, if you can say good deliveries. They all, you know, even though 15 minutes, you got to push, the mess is painful. I don't care what nobody telling y'all. Okay. But as far as the experience of being a first-time mother, like mom says, it was great. It was great. And then once you're born into the world, you do forget literally about the pain because you see this beautiful child that you have nurtured for 9 months. Now I tell you what is a thought that you know, when you're carrying, for me, I'm praying the entire time that you are okay, that you are healthy, that, you know, there is nothing wrong,
You're normal,
that you're normal or what. And so when you come out, like people say, it's kind of a joke, but it's true. You're counting you're checking toes and fingers because you don't necessarily know, you know, even though technology can tell you, you know, that there are things going on, but, you know, you're praying the entire time. So that I can say, not necessarily worried, but you're praying that God let this be a healthy child. And then with you, I did not know the sex and I did not want to know. So you were a surprise to be a girl. So yeah.
That's so interesting because grandma just mentioned she didn't know the sex, but that's for a totally different reason.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because at the time
they didn't have that technology, that ability.
No.
But yeah, I just didn't want to. You know, your dad and I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. I wanted to be a surprise.
That's kind of cool, actually.
It is. Second one, I wanted to know, but go ahead.
Well, speaking of that, so you've had your first baby, you've gotten over that hump. How did your life change with the subsequent child or children?
Mama talk. Yeah.
Oh, how did life change with the second one?
The
yeah,
next,
and third and fourth. How was it different?
Children, how did your life change?
You know, I don't know if it changed so much because I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
I didn't have to work, and it was just like I was excited about the second one, you know, and it's just to me just another child, another flow. You know, I'm happy about that because my children were 3 years apart, which means that they were up and, you know, they potty trained and all, and she was all, and so it was just another child to me. It wasn't a hardship. It wasn't anything. I'm just another baby. Because you know what? I wanted 4 children. So that was just the second one. So I'm looking for 2 more. So that's maybe why, you know, it wasn't that I wasn't looking for another baby. I wanted another baby. I wanted 4 children. So I was happy because when he was born, it was a boy. And I was boy and girl, boy and girl. But of course, you know what happened to the last one. So I was getting like I wanted from.
Oh man.
Girl and boy. So I was really excited. I still was excited about my wheel trip. It didn't change very much from it just that, and then I guess they were good children, good babies.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't give me no lot of trouble or anything. Maybe that's why it was okay. And then, like I said, I didn't have to work, and I was at home with them.
Yeah.
I was at home with them all the time, so
Mm-hmm.
it didn't matter.
Okay. Because I always imagined that wrangling, 4 children would be interesting, to say the least. But you did clarify, I guess, with 3 years in between them, that they would all kind of be at different stages. You don't have 4 babies at once.
Exactly.
Got you.
Hmm. And then it's a good thing about that from when you have the 4 children right together, have whatever. They learn to get along and they play together.
Mm-hmm.
They never, it was a dull moment with them because they all could play the same games and they played together. So
Okay.
they they babysit them together. So
Mm-hmm.
that was less for me to have to do, for us playing with them and that kind of thing, because they would entertain
Each other.
each other.
That's true. That's true.
Got you. Got you. So, mom, baby number 2.
Well, Cameron was definitely playing. We wanted another one. And like I said, unlike you, I wanted to know the sex because we wanted a boy. And when they did that sonogram and they said he was a boy, I said, bam, that's it. Done. Okay? Done. And
I couldn't talk out of it from
no, we didn't want it anymore. No. And so, of course, it's just, And so in it in and of itself, I was happy because not only, did we having another one, but we're having a boy. So, and so our family was complete. As far as changing my life now, for me, I'm still working. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is more responsibility, even though, your dad and everything is there, but it's still, it's still a lot that a mother it's a lot responsibility still falls on the mom. I don't care, what people say again. And so that means not, I'm already getting up, but that means, seeing about you. And now you all are 4 years apart, which is still good, like mom says, but that's still a 4-year-old and a baby. And that's still, getting up and making sure you're fed and he's fed and all this and getting to daycare and getting to school and then work and then coming home, so it was a little difficult. So my life did change.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have another person that now you are responsible for and that you have to take care of, and in addition to working outside of the home. And so learn to manage it though. You get in a groove, you get in a routine, and you do it, but it's not the easiest thing.
I can imagine it's not.
It's not the easiest thing.
And I see it. Shout out to moms who are juggling that every day. We've talked a few times on this broadcast about how this year has really brought out the hero in parents, and moms wrangling kids, working, and them being at home, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So, and that's another thing, now you got 2 schools, so you got 2 PTAs and
That's
all
true.
of that. So you're going back and forth with that. And that happens now, especially when the age difference is like you all, because at some point there's elementary, then there's middle school, then there's middle, then there's high. You all aren't together. I think you were only in school together one year.
Yes.
And then after that, you were in different schools. And so you got to manage, going to all the different things, and that you all were both, very active. And so, yeah, it's different when you start to have multiple children.
It is. Because they all want to do different things.
Which is a good segue. What do you think is your greatest challenge in motherhood?
Oh, okay. I can go ahead and
You can
answer.
say it.
Um, you're two different people,
Mhm.
two different personalities, and you have to parent each person, each child differently. What I could do with you, I couldn't do with Cam, vice versa. And so, you're learning just like, you have to learn your child because they're even different from you. Yeah, they may have, definitely some traits and some, you'll see some of your personality, what have you, but they're unique, and you're both, you're both unique in and of yourself. And so you have to find ways to communicate, how to discipline, how to help or what have you. And so that can be a challenge. I think for me, that was probably the greatest challenge, is just learning more about who you were as individuals and then trying to parent you the best that I could based on your uniqueness in your person.
I totally agree with her with us. I have to always be telling people that children, if you have 10 children, I believe I'm sure they'll be different. But like Teresa was saying, that's a big challenge because every child has a different personality. And you have to discipline it really different.
Mhm.
Um, it's just, what you could say to one of them, you can't say to the other one. Not really, the way you say something, because their whole makeup is different. You
Mhm.
know, so you have to learn that even when they're in school, you have to. Teachers always say, "Well, you should be like Teresa. You should do this. You should do." I had to tell them all of my children are different. Don't expect the same thing out of one as you do the other. And that's a big challenge when your children are in school and participating. All of them want to participate in something different. Well, one want music, one does not. One want football, one want band, and you have to roll with the punch. You have to figure that out.
um I want to pick back. I think I see a comment, and it's good. One challenge too is, you ask, okay, I'll back up. You ask what changed or how did life change when you have a child?
Mhm.
Well, being married is just you and your husband, and all of your energy and devotion goes to that person, to your husband. Then when that child comes in,
Mhm.
now you are swinging a lot of your energy, a lot of your time, probably
Yes,
more to that
you
child.
do.
And so that changes the dynamic of your family.
Mhm.
And so that begins to be a challenge, how to make sure that I'm giving time to my husband and making him the priority that he should be. But also you have this infant that is crying, just needs all of you. And they can't do anything. They need all of you. And so you have to, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you give more, sometimes you give less. Sometimes you give where you should, sometimes you give where you think. It all balances out if you have good intentions and your heart is in the right place. So you just juggle it. I don't it's a balancing act that at times, that when those children are young, they are going to get more time. And preferably you have a husband that, understands and then will also pitch in and help. But, as they get older, they less dependent, then, it can swing back. But it's a that's a challenge too.
For me, it was a challenge too. Just like you were saying, Teresa, when you and your husband, you know, you, you can you have a tendency to putting all your time with him. But when the children come, I had a hard time balancing that because I would end up, um, I guess I want to say catering to my children, but I had to learn the biblical way that my husband came first and my children. But it was hard for me because I always thought that, okay, they can't do nothing for themselves, and I got to be the one to do this, and I got to be the one. When I'm leaving him out sometime, that's a challenge. And like she said, it'll work out because you have to have your heart right about that,
And you learn.
and you learn.
You learn.
You live, you learn,
And you grow.
And you grow. You get to the point that it's okay, and both of you all will get on the same page. But it's going to come a time that maybe you, like she said, you're not going to do everything right, but it works out.
Excellent question from Casper Quarter and excellent answers. If you're just joining, welcome. We're on talking about pearls of purpose, motherhood through the generations, and we are talking about the challenges of motherhood. We want to hear from you, so be sure to comment and share this broadcast, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. So I want to spin that question a little bit. We talked about your challenges in being a parent specifically, and we just talked about your challenges of being a wife and mother. How did motherhood challenge you as a woman? How did it change you as a person?
It definitely makes you stronger. You realize you can do so many things. You start to juggle. That's when your juggling skills become really good. And multitasking. I think that's one thing women are really good at. And so you learn to do that because you have to be able to manage multiple people in multiple situations and things. So that helped me as a woman, especially working, because then I could apply those same skills that I'm learning as a mother into the workforce. Now, a challenge is as your children get older and you have been doing this mothering thing for a while, you have to make sure you carve your identity outside of being just a wife and mother, because you were a woman by yourself, all by yourself, before anybody else came in. And so, you don't want, for me, I didn't want to lose myself, just saying that I'm not saying that it's just a mother, because a mother is very important, but I'm a faceted woman. I'm a person. And so you have to still find time for yourself. That's one thing. Time is is a short one then, because you have spent, all day doing different things. And so you got to carve out your own personal time. Whether that's 15, 20 minutes, you get in the corner and you read or whatever, whatever you like to do. So doing that, keeping up your skills or what have you. And that's where I say I can appreciate mom, and I learned from her. She was always still doing things, still sewing, still doing little business enterprises, still being her. She never stopped being a woman. And so, and her own person. And so I like that. I like that. And so, definitely learn how to do that. But it was a challenge.
Yeah.
Before you answer, Grandma, I want to point out something you said. You said that motherhood taught you basically some transferable skills, some things that you took into the workplace. And I found that interesting because statistically, the workplace tends to kind of throw mothers away or see them as less valuable because they have children. We'll pay you less, or we don't want to hire you for this, that, and the other, because we think that motherhood will interfere with your job. But from what I've seen with my own eyes and what you said, sounds like motherhood can be an enhancement
Definitely.
to that employee skill set. So
definitely, because you learn communication skills, you learn how to, like I say, multitask.
Yeah.
You time management, all of that, and that all applies. So we'll talk. I'm sure that may go into our next. Well, we'll start talking about that a little bit later. But the stay-at-home mom, if and when she decides that she wants to go back into the workforce, she has skills. She has transferable skills that can be applied, into the workplace. So it's not all lost And it's not in vain. And it's not that she just was at home.
No.
She was working. She was working. Okay. Very hard. Longer than an 8-hour day.
Yes, ma'am.
She was the CEO or the COO, the chief operating officer, the head of HR, the project manager, the cook, the chef,
Lord,
the chauffeur.
I was there, all of it.
all of it.
Yes, I was
So-
all of it. But it can be done,
It can be done.
and I know it can.
And done well.
Yes.
Well, grandmama, how did parenting and becoming a mother change or challenge you as a woman?
As a woman, I could still say the same thing about challenge me as being a woman. Um, like we were talking about, you can be a stay-at-home mom, but you also can be a businesswoman, and that ended up with me. I could still do the things I needed to do at home and still carry on my business. Um, it just made me a better person. Like Teresa said, it helped me to meet people. I met so many people because I learned a lot of things. I got a chance to visit with the schools. I did choir dresses. I did, all the schools at JPS. I did them and others. So I learned how to communicate with people, got to know people. People knew me. And so that as a woman, that made me feel like, okay, you're not just a stay-home mom, because my children had gotten, older and grown. Not really grown, but they were in school. And so when I would go to school, people knew me. When to see about the kids, everybody knew me, and everything. So it was just a joy. And I'm a person who I love people. I am extrovert, extrovert to the heart. And I love meeting people. I was just thinking about it when we were talking about Teresa saying, well, you don't have to be a biological mom.
Right.
I have so many children everywhere. I mean, everywhere.
Call you mama.
By another mom. And so all that helped me to front as a mother to get to know people and to meet people. I enjoy that.
That's funny. It's really awesome that you said that, because just even in the blogging industry, you see so many mommy bloggers is an actual niche. Women are taking the whole motherhood thing and using it to frame what it is they do, work wise. It's pretty cool that you don't really have to compromise in that aspect anymore.
That's true. That's right.
And I always used to teach her from the time she was little. I always tell her, and I don't know if I thought about it some, but I didn't mean it to be not good. I would always tell her, get you a life.
Oh, yeah.
Get your life. And the reason why I would say that is because one day, you just need to be independent, because you never know what's going to happen. So you need to be independent. You need to have something that you can do for yourself, And so I believe in that still. And I teach my grandchildren that. Get your life outside of, So there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. So, grandmama, what's the most rewarding thing about being a mother?
Oh, my children are beautiful children.
Oh,
Fantastic children. I'm so happy and I'm so thankful to be their mom. And of course, I have to put my grandchildren, because they are the parent of the grandchildren. But that is the most exciting thing for me, Shafran. So to see my children now as adults, and they have children, and how they have become men and women of God. I love that. They're saved. That's my joy every day. So that makes me happy. When I see all my grandchildren are saved, all my children are saved. I feel like that was one of my purposes here. And so I'm grateful and I'm thankful.
That's
That's my biggest joy.
a blessing. A blessing. Mom, what's most rewarding for you?
To see you all grow up and develop and start to pursue your dreams, to really go after things that you really, really want to do.
Yeah.
It begin to excel. I ain't gonna say begin. You can excel in things that you do. Like Mama said, of course, saved and productive and all of that. But
Yeah.
specifically, just really, as your dad says, getting after it. Really going after what God has placed in your heart. And so, I that's very rewarding to see that, I did something right. When you see that, all the work you put in, all the time, all the effort, and that you see this person grow into this wonderful individual, that's rewarding. To know that, like I said, you did something right.
Yes.
And, even with the missteps and the failures, there was, it still turned out very, very well. It's almost like cooking a cake. You mix all that in there and you put it in there and in the oven and you wait and you hope that that thing is good, and then you slicing that bad boy and it's good. It's like, yeah, it was worth it.
By no means they are perfect, but they are God's children. They living a life that's good,
And it's a blessing.
That's a blessing.
That's a great analogy to y'all about it being, like the cake, because you were dealing with human beings here at the end of the day. And I know you guys did the very best you could, but there was still no guarantee that those human beings with their own hearts and minds
exactly
would turn out the way you intended.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. That's it. There's no guarantee. You just pray and hope for the best.
Did I put too much on them? Are they too salty?
Are they too salty? Oh, that shit. They just too sweet. Yes, that's it.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about parenting, motherhood through the stages. So you have mothering babies and teens and young adults and even mothering middle-aged children. How did you manage moving through the changes?
Ooh, that is good.
How did I manage moving through the changes?
The baby and toddler and all that stage, I'd say that's relatively easy because it's mechanical. It's pretty practical.
It's gonna happen.
You like I said, you're changing diapers, you're feeding, you send them to school. That's kind of just time management, so to speak. You just gotta. But then as you get older and you hit that puberty and you start to get in that teenage and you start to develop that own personality, and then that's the most challenging to me. One of the challenging times was when you're both got, like I said, you both got your own personalities. You got your likes, you got your dislikes, and so it can be a push and a pull sometimes. And so if anybody knows her, she has a very strong person. She's a strong-willed person.
Yes.
And when she says it's green, it is green. Even though it looks like it's a little, sip the cup, even though it is yellow, but she's saying it's green. Okay. So, imagine a teenager with a strong will. Okay, just take that for what it is, y'all. Beautiful. Now I will say now too, like what Mama said, both of my children They were a blessing and a joy to raise. I will say that. Didn't give us any trouble, anything like that. But they still had their personalities,
Yeah.
and you have to manage that. And then Cameron, he's a high, what is it? What's a good word for him?
High strung.
Yeah, high strung. Yeah, there he is. There you go. So, he's gonna take everything from 0 to 10. And so, you're learning and growing as your children are learning and growing. So, long story short, the teens, ugh. Now that's what I say. Now, Mama, you take that. Go ahead. It's probably different for
It's
you.
so different from me because, and I don't want to make it sound like my children were so up this and that, but some of the things that people I talk to people and be involved with people about, I can't identify with that because of I didn't see that in my children. Or I'm not saying that a lot of times they do little things that I didn't even know about, And like I said, they all were different. Chris, he was a challenging child because Chris would always speak out. He was the kind of person that I stayed at school a lot because they misunderstood him. We would always tell him to never, how people think that the children are trying to, what is it? How people think the children are being sassy or
Sassy.
It wasn't that he was this. He would just, if he knew something, he was going to speak it out. And he wasn't going to sit there and close his mouth. From the time he was a little child,
He was outspoken.
I'll never forget he was on Romper Room. And I would be so nervous of what he was going to say next to the lady because he came home one day and told me, he said, I'm going to tell her that is not a real mirror. She had this little mirror that didn't have just a rim on it and didn't have glass in it. And I told him, I said, don't you say that. He said he was going to tell her that it wasn't no glass in that mirror. And things like that, I was nervous about him, but he came a little challenged because Chris was just outspoken, and wasn't nothing wrong with that. Because we would tell even the principal, I said, he's not disrespectful. I said, well, we've always taught our children, when you know you're right, speak out. But if you're wrong, shut your mouth up, be respectful. But those are some of the things you go through with different children, different personalities. Yeah, of course, he never wanted to go to school. He wanted me to pick him up every time he go. But just different things like that. That's it.
I'll say something too. You said through the stages. As you got older, I had to not be so hands-on. You have to learn when to let go. And that you are moving in your own path and your own journey. That if you need my assistance and help or advice, you will come to me. I don't have to always just give it. So that's a difference of parenting at each stage of your life. And so that's different.
Well, speaking of letting go and being less hands-on, we hear a lot of talk about how to parent babies, how to parent teens, the terrible teens, and letting go of young adults. Grandmama, what is it like parenting middle-aged children?
Middle-aged children.
Talking about parenting us.
How do you approach that?
Parenting middle-aged. Then what age are we?
We'll say 40 and up.
She's talking about parenting us. Parenting now. Well, how is it like parenting
now? It's okay. I don't have any problem with them.
I mean, no.
What advice do you have?
Oh, what advice I have for parenting middle-aged children?
Yes.
Well, I think after they get middle age, you just about have done what you could do. Other than pray for them.
That's what I was gonna say.
You pray for your children,
Yeah.
and you hope that they would do the right thing, and but it's very, you can't really do anything about that, and I don't think you should interfere with their life after they get to be middle aged. They're
That's what
married.
she's asking.
They got other, their families. You just pray for them, love on them, and hope that they would do the right thing. Hope that they would live right. That's the most you can do, and I stay out of their business.
I'll say as you all aren't middle aged, but you're definitely full-fledged adults. Say the same in a little bit. Prayer becomes your focus.
Yes.
You can you never stop praying, and you're still there if you're needed.
If you need, that's right.
You never so to speak, unavailable or not there if you're needed. And you continue to pray. Yeah. But as far as like, again, being in their business or in do that in their lives the way you would have as a younger person, that doesn't that's not applicable anymore. Yeah. You have to evolve as they grow.
And I have told my grandchildren, I say, you can always call grandmama and ask for prayer. I said, you don't even have to tell me what I'm praying. Just tell me, grandmama, I need you to pray for me. I don't have to know their business. I don't have to know that. But I tell them, you can always talk to me if you want to. Same way about my, my adult children. If you need me, if you need to talk to me, I'm here. I'm open to, to listen. But like I say, I never want to be the person that interferes with their life,
Their personal life.
Their personal life. I don't do that.
Because at some point they're on their own journey and own path.
That's right.
Well, because I actually, I have a lot of middle-aged friends, and that's a common thing that I hear. Either mom is meddling in their life, or they're meddling in mom's life.
And that's true. That is very true. That is very true. It can work both ways. That's true.
So I get the whole moral that you have to evolve with your children and grow as a mother as they grow as human beings.
That's it. You growing right along with them and learning too. Because it's just like they're entering into a new stage of being, you're entering into a new stage of being a mother. So you really don't know, what you're doing at that stage. Right. You just kind of, you learn from others and you pray and you do it.
Yeah.
Another moral of the story: you never know what you're doing.
You never know what you're doing. You never do. There is no.
Yes, you just hope.
Exactly. Pray. Children don't come with handbooks and say, "This is what you do." No, I'm sorry. And again, because each one is totally different. You can have a handbook and that handbook don't work not nan time on that second and third one. So throw the handbook away.
True.
It's above me now.
It's above me now.
Yep.
So you have here, I think you put this here, bonus parenting in phase 2. What do you want to ask, Mom?
Oh, yes. For you, if both of us, but specifically for you, you have a bonus daughter. And she's a teenager. So first of all, how was that, when you first, got married and you became the bonus mother? How has that been for you? What have you been some of your challenges and what have been some of your rewards?
It's been quite interesting in a wonderful, wonderful way. I heard it described once. Being a bonus parent is like getting a gift with purchase, so to speak.
That makes sense.
Yes, yes. And I purposely use the term bonus parent because she's not a child that I just tolerate because I married her father.
Mhm.
She's an actual added blessing to my life.
That's
Amen.
wonderful.
Absolutely.
That's
So, the main challenge for me, I have walked into her life at a very interesting passage of time. I met her when
Mhm.
she was 11 and she is now 14. And we all know what those years tend to hold,
Mhm.
especially for little girls.
Mhm.
yes.
So it's been kind of challenging, kind of navigating that with
Mhm.
her, just trying to be sensitive to where she is in life because I've been there.
Mhm.
And also, her personality is quite opposite of mine. She is wonderfully social and vivacious, and she loves her friends and to talk and all those kinds of things. I'm a textbook introvert. So just learning how to communicate with her, it hasn't been difficult, but it has been a measure of growth.
Mhm.
Or like figuring out how to meet her where she is, and
Yeah.
also just for me personally, where I fit into this alphabet soup that is her life, because I came into the situation wanting to add and not harm.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
That anything I would do participating in her life would not cause extra hardship on her. So just
Mhm.
being sensitive and understanding and just kind of figuring out where I can be of service, you know, and owning my responsibility. I take it serious. I may not have grown her in my womb, but I count myself a responsible party in how she turns out.
Very much so.
Mhm.
Not just in what I do with her, but how I govern myself as a human being and how that either affects her or influences her.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Because bonus parenting should be that you have another person that just adds to the equation and adds to the blessing both ways,
Mhm.
for the
Mhm.
child and that parent, that other parent.
Exactly.
And it should just be an addition to the family. And so saying that, now phase two, what are you looking forward to in becoming, I guess, a first time birth mother?
Um, One privilege I did not get this time around is the growing through. Like I had to get to know Cece where she is right now and get over, you know, that portion, and then of course not being with her every
Right.
day is
Exactly.
challenging. But starting from scratch and being able to know who this person is from the time that they are formed inside me all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Literally, like we've been talking about, growing
Right.
and learning with a fresh new little
Little
person,
one.
and yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different.
Mhm.
And
Good.
just, being able to understand a little bit more, I guess, of who they are, the things that you get from your mother and your father that birthed you or that you're around all the
All
time.
the time.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn that about someone that walks into your life later. But
Right.
you kind of know, well, this child acts this way because,
Mhm.
Exactly.
but wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's
Wonderful.
great.
Wonderful.
So many can't say that.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
that's
true.
true.
It's true.
That's true. And I look at it such that what I pray that, I'm blessed with more children, but what if God says, no, I'm not going to waste my time and look back at the love I could have given the one I
That you
had.
gained.
That's right.
It's so true.
Mhm.
Good. Awesome. But yeah, that's what I wanted to ask.
What about you, Mom?
Well, it's a little bit different. Now I have a full-fledged grown bonus daughter with children. So I have grandchildren. But she was a challenge and she knows it. So this nothing I'm not saying that she doesn't know. Um she was a challenge raising. She had her own issues and all of that. But we have begun to appreciate each other as we got older.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when she started having her own children. So she saw some of the stuff, the same stuff that I was saying. Now she can see it, and that, hey, I wasn't the wicked stepmother of the West, and that, parenting isn't easy. And it comes with challenges, and you're gonna get it right and you're gonna get it wrong and all of that. So there's a greater understanding, and then there's a greater appreciation for each other. So it's good. It's good. It's good now. Even with the challenges and everything that happened, I could still say that it's been good and it's a blessing. And just adds extra spice to your life, to your family.
And I hope that's an encouragement to anybody out there that's going through it.
That's right. You gotta, yeah. If you are going through it, hang in there. It's not going, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but hang in there and prayer. I mean, I'm just a big person of prayer on everything. And prayerfully, as time goes on, you know, people change and you learn
Mm-hmm.
and you grow. And it can
You
get
have to have a
better.
lot of patience with it.
Lots of patience.
Mhm.
Lots of patience. Tons of it. I think I might have to have a little more patience with bonus children than you do your own, specifically because of what you kind of just said. These are children that are not with you all the time, don't live with you all the time, come in your life at different points in your life. So you don't know the whole story. Versus your child, you know. It's just some stuff you just know because they're yours and they're with you and all of that. So you got to kind of piece so much stuff together and try to figure so much stuff out. And then they bring their own set of issues just like you do into it. And so it's different. And I think that brings its own set of challenges all by itself.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't say handle them with kid gloves, but handle them with care because they've been through a lot that
Mhm.
wasn't their fault,
Exactly.
Yeah.
at a young age without the tools to be able to handle it. So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
yep. So now let's take a little bit of a commercial break. I just want to take a moment to recognize our awesome, we'll say sponsor, preachandplay.com. Preach and Play is the brainchild of Casper Porter, my husband, who often technical directs this broadcast and is responsible for so much of the improvements that you see on this channel, like us being able to stream to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Wonderful.
We want to give a shout out. You can check out preachandplay.com. All right, let's talk about a couple of topics just in general. Motherhood through the ages. So we have the privilege of having three generations present. Grandmother, how was it? How do you think parenting in your era, the 70s and 80s, is different than what parents are going through now?
I think one of the biggest things is now um, young people are becoming parent very young.
Mm.
Uh, and I say all the time, a lot of girls, and I guess I don't include this, a lot of girls have babies when they are like maybe 14, 15. And I see it so different now. Not that they didn't do that then, but now it's a lot of that going on. And they don't know how to be parents. Uh, and for the simple reason is that they have not been parents. You know, some of them have grown up and their parent had to work and they didn't have time to actually engage in parenting them, you know. Um, that's some of the things that some of the difference I see in the 70s and 80s, because a lot back in the 70s, it wasn't it was some people that was able to stay at home and to raise their children, you know. And things so much things are happening, so many different things are taking place now that wasn't back there. Maybe back there, but it wasn't as prevalent uh that you have to look out for now.
Mhm.
So that's hard. I was thinking about back in the 70s, children were able to even like at home go out in the yard and play, or they were able to go to the movies and
Sure.
do different things like that. But now it's really hard
Yeah.
to let your children even be out anywhere because you're afraid something's going to happen to them. That's a lot of things that have happened, you know, and that's you know parenting now is different. Um, then you used to let them spend the night with different people. You have to be particular about that now. You have to know who they are going, you know, um, being with and all of that kind of thing. That's some of it. So I don't know what you have to say about that.
Some of the same. I think it's for me what's different from when I was parenting. Like even with this past year with the pandemic, and the result of it is tons of more working from home. That wasn't as, and even before the pandemic, companies had begun to, work from home, just like, you did for a long time, Shafran. And so that wasn't prevalent when I was working. And I think that gives a lot of opportunities for mothers that need or want to work, but still want to be at home. And so it's a good, uh, happy medium, excuse me, for a lot of mothers in this age, this generation.
Mhm.
Um, Different now, kind of piggyback on what mom's saying, you know, the world we live in is scarier.
Mhm.
It's has more challenges. And so I think, if I had to raise you all now,
More
it
difficult.
would be more difficult.
Mhm.
And so I think that's different. We have the internet that
Yes.
we did not have at
Phone.
that type. We had AOL. You could dial up and you know, but now children are exposed to stuff so
Yes.
easily, and so things are so much more prevalent. So
Yes.
you have to have so much more of a watchful eye.
Yes.
And like mom says, so many things they can and cannot do. And so, if you're raising a black son, that's a whole nother issue right there.
Yeah.
So that's different in all of it in itself than when I was, raising you up.
I was even thinking about the chiffon, even back in the 70s, you know, you could turn the TV on and the kids watch Sesame Street and Electric Company and those kind of things. But now you can't really let them watch. You got to like
You got to have
Teresa, you,
monitors,
you
and
got
you
to
got to
monitor, you got to screen
screen
it,
it. Yep.
making sure there's nothing on, you know, that they shouldn't be looking at because
Mhm.
it's hard. A show that comes on now
That's suitable for
that's
children,
suitable for children, for family, you know.
families. Yep.
It's hard.
And that's the interesting thing is that kids have more screen time than they ever have before.
Exactly. That's true because every child has a phone and every child has a computer. And so there's not a lot of interaction, not a lot of family time there, you know, where we literally, you know, didn't have all of that. And so we, you know, we played a lot of games, tons of board games, you know, that's kind of being lost into the, you know, handheld in your face.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I see that as a trend, you know, across my friends who have small children or even, you know, the teenage sect that I just talked about. Just how do you protect them? There's so much more out there. And instead of you having to go to the stuff, the internet brings the stuff into your house.
You don't have to go looking for it. Yeah.
It's very much a full-time job. You know, a lot of my parent friends nowadays, people my age are starting to have teenagers at this point, you know, a lot of them. And just monitoring all of that, keeping them in different activities and balancing life.
Yeah.
Balancing life. Definitely. And one thing you guys kind of mentioned, with the internet in particular, mom shaming is a really big thing. We've got a lot of people who are being more honest about not wanting kids at all. You have people that shame moms for not breastfeeding. You have the working moms that shame the stay-at-homes that are shaming the working moms. And you guys can tell me if that was big in your time, but I think it's more prevalent or obvious in today's internet age.
I think we were still doing it, but like you just said, it's more prevalent because we have social media and people can see it and we can say what we want to say and all of that. But the shaming of the stay-at-home mom versus the working home, you know, why don't you know, why are you staying at home with your children? Why you ain't working? And then if you are working, well, why are you working? You need to be at home, you know, vice versa. You know, and breast milk is best. You didn't try that? You don't want to? You know, and then it's always been, you don't want children. Like, you know, it's a crime. If you have decided that that's not what you want, it is okay. And we as women are notorious for doing that. Or when you gonna have some children? You're not gonna have children. Okay, have you not? Maybe her and her husband, they have decided they don't want any.
Or what if she can't?
Or what if she?
It's been a very sore issue for a lot of people.
Yes.
Guys out there, if you're watching, don't ask somebody why they don't have
children
because you have no idea.
They may not be able to. And then that's a sore spot that you have just touched. Because, you know, so yeah, that's been going on forever.
Absolutely. It has to stop.
It has to stop.
Even shaming the way people keep their children's hair. Why is it natural? Why is it a puff? Or like housekeeping. Like, you know that this person has umpteen million little bitty kids. Don't judge them about how they are not keeping their house, and don't feel pressured about that.
That's right. That's right. They literally could pick up all day and they'll throw it all down on the ground. I was reminded of that when a little grand girl came over a couple of weeks ago and had stuff all over. And I was like, well, you can tell a child has been here. You know, and I pick up, I just left it there till she left. I mean, because what's the point?
Grandchild.
I said I didn't pick up after her mother.
Well, speaking of that, grandmothers rock, and they play a major role and how we turn out. My mom is my first best friend, and I would say my grandma is my second best friend, my running buddy, my sewing partner.
Not me. Her.
What was it like for you all becoming grandmothers?
You go on that first.
Wonderful.
I know.
I could spoil you all and send you back to your mom and dad. Oh, I love it, Fran. I don't know if I could even explain it. I tell people, I tell people, I said, until you become a grandparent, you just don't know. It is such a joy. I love it. I can't get too many of them. Now I'm a great grandma, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I think it's wonderful. I love my grandbabies, all of them. Yes, they never get old. They still babies.
I believe it. I'll be your baby forever.
Look, and I love them because they can go to mom and dad and ask for something, and mom and dad won't do it. They can call me, and I do it.
Terrible. Just terrible.
I love it. I say you spoil them, and then you send them back home.
That right there. That's one part.
But
Shout out to Miss Carlette. She said, yes, we do send them.
Yay. Yes, Carlette. You know what I'm talking about, girl. Love it.
Hey, sis.
And
Love
she
it.
says it's the most wonderful joy in the world.
It is a joy. It's such a joy. Yeah. Thank God for you all.
Let me ask you all this then. Did becoming a grandmother make you look back on how you were as a mother? Does it put that in perspective at all?
No, not really. I never had no thoughts about it.
Not really, because I guess, for me personally, all of my grandchildren are at different places.
Yeah.
And so I don't get a chance to see them much. And so it hadn't just really I don't know.
Well, one thing, no,
No, you know me. It's no. The answer is no. I love them now, but no, ma'am.
I guess I want to see them grow up. I want them to get grown. I want them to get out, but I still want them to stay babies. I want them. I don't know how I might feel about that. I just want them to stay my babies. I want them to grow up, get grown, get married, and all that, but I don't want them to ever forget that they're not my babies. I don't know if it's understandable or not. I don't know if I'm expressing it wrong.
Well, Carlette just said something good. She says, I do because I see my children in their children. Now, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I think as they get older, I'm sure I will see some of me in little G, and be like, oh, wow, especially as their personalities come and all of that. So then you do now. Okay, I can answer this in a different way. I do give that same little mother advice. I find myself saying, Cameron, have you done this and that and that and that? Or have you tried that? Or what about, okay, what y'all gonna do about that? Or, you that mother, it does. It kicks right back in. You're exactly right. It kicks right back in and you start it all over again. But then you just have to remember, this ain't your child. Now that is something, yeah. That's where the separation got to come. Then you have to remember, okay, I can't, be just telling them what to do because it's my grandchild, but it's not my child.
Not your child.
And how they do and what they do with their children is not for me
Yeah,
to go.
that's true.
So you do have to remember that.
Mhm.
You can love them to death,
Yeah,
but they're not your children. And you're not raising them.
Mhm.
And you may not even agree sometimes about how they're raised or what they do or whatever, but they're not yours. And so so yeah,
So
you're
suck
right.
it up.
Suck it up.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Suck it up, bud.
Suck it up.
But the good thing though is, like Mom said, you can spoil them and do all that stuff to send them back home.
There are perks.
That's the perk right there.
Absolutely. And I think that's a wonderful segue into our anchor verse. Mom, do you happen to have it handy?
Yes, I do.
Can you read it?
Sure. But as for you, teach what accords with sound doctrine. Older men are to be sober minded, dignified, self controlled, sound in faith, in love, and in steadfastness. Older women likewise are to be reverent in behavior, not slanderers or slaves to too much wine. They are to teach what is good, and so train the young women to love their husbands and children, to be self controlled, pure, working at home, kind, and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled. Likewise, urge the younger men to be self controlled. Show yourself in all respects to be a model of good works, and in your teaching, show integrity, dignity, and sound speech that cannot be condemned, so that an opponent may be put to shame, having nothing evil to say about us. Titus 2, 1 and through 8.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. So we chose this verse. You may be wondering, what does this have to do with motherhood? But when we were preparing for this broadcast and knowing we would have 3 generations, like we talked at the top of the broadcast about how the imprint of my grandmother's life and her I guess not having a mother but having a mother figure, and the things she learned was imprinted on my mother, who imprinted those things on me, and the importance of, through the generations, older women taking on the younger women and imprinting those good things, like the things that are named in this verse, upon the next generation, keeping their sisters, so to speak. Mom and Grandma, do y'all have anything to add on that?
Well, this scripture, this part is the older women teaching the younger women. And like you said, that's really what it is. As mothers, we have the awesome opportunity to teach. We are like our child's first teacher.
Yes.
And so the things that we impart in them, and it can be a testament as they grow older and get their own families, that they can pass on, and like it is motherhood through the generations. And so that's really the blessing in it all.
Amen. I totally agree.
And that the seed you plant today is not the fruit you eat today, but it will show up tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So with that being said, I want to go around for some Mother's Day encouragement, but before we get there, I do want to thank everybody who watched any part of this broadcast today. I want to thank our friends and family for commenting and hanging out with us. I want to show this comment. Amen. I love that scripture for family. And that's the Bible way, and it brings godly results. Can't say that.
Can't say it any better. That's it. That's it.
Amen.
Bible way, and it brings godly results.
That's so true.
So you guys, be sure to come and hang out with us anytime on the Sidebar Sessions broadcast. But also, we want you to follow us at Sweet Tea Gems. Real simple. here on Facebook or on YouTube so you can be notified of the latest videos and the latest results, as well as our Instagram page for weekly words of wisdom, our Monday Minute, our gem of the week, and some other funs and funnies. So do follow us on social media. And if you want to get in contact to email us, if you've got a show idea or some feedback or anything, you can talk to us. Let's talk at sweettgems.com.
Please do like, subscribe.
Absolutely. Do email us, like, and subscribe because we still have our book that's on the way. And in a
Yes.
very short while, a
Yes.
very special devotional we're cooking up and writing for you guys. And we want to be able to share that with you. And we want you to be the first to know.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So, I will start with you, Mom.
Mhm.
What is your Mother's Day encouragement for this year?
That the prayers that you pray today, you know, you will see the results later. Almost kind of like what Carlette said. She really couldn't have said it any better. Do it God's way and you will get God's results.
Mhm.
So, just and don't give up.
That's it.
Sometimes they're not looking or doing, especially as they get older or what have you, and some may stray or what have you. But if you have really taught and you have taught, we are this broadcast is brought to you by saved people, so we are going to interject that. If you have brought your children up in the word and the way of the Lord, they're gonna come back. And if you have taught the things that you and done the best that you can do,
Mhm.
don't blame yourself. Don't fault yourself. If you've done your best, then this is my phrase. If you've done your best, then let God do the rest.
Mhm. Absolutely. Words of wisdom. I'll go next so you can have the last word, Grandma. My encouragement is for those of you that Mother's Day is difficult for. Um, as a single person, having been single a long while before I got married, that was a concern of mine. I thought I was never going to get married, and I thought I was never going to have, potentially never going to have any children. Um, be encouraged that you can take this day to celebrate your mother and other moms in your life, or not celebrate at all. It's okay to pull back if you need to and reflect on yourself. If you don't have children yet and you want them, then don't look at that as a diminishment on your womanhood. You are still valuable and worth so much.
Mhm.
Don't let, a Hallmark holiday take that away from you. Also, if you're struggling to conceive, my heart goes out to you. Don't be discouraged about that either. So take the day easy. Don't take it too hard. You are still loved, you are still worthy, and you're still valuable and have so much to offer the world, whether you are a mother in the traditional respect or not. My hat's off to you. If you are a traditional birth mom, my hat's off to you. If you're a non-traditional bonus mom, surrogate mom to the children in your community or the people in your life, you have pearls of purpose that are valuable to someone.
Amen.
Mhm.
She wants you to have the last. What's your
Okay.
words of encouragement?
Okay, my word of encouragement. It's be like Teresa said, be the best mom that you can be. Uh, teach your children. Not only teach them, you have to live Right. You can't always say, I'm teaching, but you living differently.
Mm.
You have to show them how to live and teach them right. And also, be patient with them. Uh, if you teach them and teach them God's way, it's just like the scriptures say. They may do some things that's not just right. We all do, but they will always remember your teaching, and they will live by that. And also, to whoever out there that have mothers, have had mothers throughout their adult life, love them with all your heart. Spend time with them, because a lot of us wasn't that privileged. But I say, love them like you're going crazy.
That's true.
This Mother's Day, find a way to speak to them. If you're long distance, call them. If you're close, go visit them. Just go and just give them a big hug. Some of them are lonesome, and make sure you take care of your mom.
Yeah, my
Um,
mommy.
that's my advice for that. And just believe that um, God will, He'll see you through all of it, everything that you're trying to do with your children. And just be blessed. Have a wonderful Mother's Day.
Yes, wonderful, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
We love
Mother's
all of you all.
Yes, awesome pearls of wisdom. I want to thank my co-host, Sweet Tea Teresa, and a special thanks to our guest, our crown jewel, Dorothy Taylor, for coming and just sharing all the awesome wisdom that her years and motherhood have provided for us. So again, share this broadcast, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, like, and continue to just comment and hang out with us. We enjoy doing what we're doing, and we do it all because of you.
You.
We do it all because of you and for you. So with that being said, you guys have, before we go, our next sidebar session is scheduled for May the 20th.
May the 20th.
May the 20th. We hope it'll be a fun one. HBCUs versus PWI. So get your paraphernalia ready. We want you in your hats and your socks and your gloves and your shorts and your shirts. I'm talking to you HBCU people because y'all do that over here.
Oh God.
I want you in your spats and yes. Yes. Come ready. Come ready to art. Oh man. So we'll be back with you on May the 20th, and you can catch us right here on YouTube and Facebook in between for our previous sessions and our news throughout the week. And we will see you guys later.
Okay, baby. Bye-bye.
Love you all.
Love you.